Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Extinguisher 10, and today we are finding out how to scout and draft safeties in Madden 20. So being we're focusing on safeties, we're going to tab over, and we'll start with the strong safeties. And what you want to do is you don't want to waste any points because, of course, you normally wouldn't just be scouting two position groups. You would be scouting everybody you would possibly need. So you want to conserve your points and use them wisely. So what we'll do is we'll hit up the first column, and if somebody doesn't look any good, we won't go any farther. So it looks like there's not very many strong safeties, so this should be pretty easy. C-, I'm going to pass on him for now. He is a 7th rounder, so there is potential that he could be worth it back there, but really, most of the time, players at the back end of the draft just aren't worth taking unless they show that they have a talent level of, say, 3rd or higher. Anybody below that, just trade the pick away and try and use them for a future draft. But before we get any farther, we're going to talk about the archetypes of the safeties. Both free safety and strong safety use the same archetypes, so it makes that easy. So right now we are on a hybrid who is kind of a guy who comes down to the box, but he can do coverage, hence the hybrid. He's kind of a tweener. Then of course you have your zone guy, which there is no man safety, so basically that's your coverage guy. And then of course you have your run supporter, the guy who plays in the box 90% of the time, basically an extra linebacker. And generally speaking, you want to draft to what suits your needs the best, but of course you want to get the best player possible too, so just in case you find an absolute steal or a monster, even if he's not exactly what you need, if he's that good, it'll be worth using that guy anyway. So let's start with the next round. Devlin De La Roche. He a B-, but he's in the 7th round, so normally you wouldn't want the B-, but that low, it's worth continuing. And C, probably not, but it's not. I mean, for a 7th rounder, if his combine is decent, then he might be worth taking. Let's give him the extra point anyway. And 5th round talent, if you have a chance to take him in the 7th round, he might be good depth, but he's probably never going to be a starter for you. He'll just be a good special teamer and maybe someone who comes in certain situations. Bumping up here, Rashawn Bishop, 4th rounder, B+ hit power. Hit power is, like I've talked about with other positions, it's not a great thing to have on these top 3 skills because that really doesn't tell you how good the player is other than, okay, he hits hard, which is great. But you really want to see something else above hit power. But B+, so far it's pretty good. Let's keep going. B, looking good, and hit power, if you're going to see it in any of them, you do want to see it in the run support guy. And let's continue. Let's hope for another B. And C+, you wanted it to stay higher, but for a 4th rounder, shows that he's a 3rd round talent. And let's just jump in here. Shows he's a mid-3rd rounder, and in previous Maddens, these little green diamonds, they kind of gave you a general ballpark of where someone's talent is, but in this year's Madden, they really narrowed it down. They are very precise. It feels almost like cheating in a way, for at least for me personally, who enjoys going through the draft process. But that gives you a great idea of his talent level. He's probably going to be, I don't know, probably in the ballpark of upper 60s, probably 67. Yeah, I'm going to go 67. Try and remember that. But anyway, let's get the rest of the guys. B, not bad. B-, not great. If he stays at B-, that actually looks better than Rashawn Bishop because we are seeing the top 3 skills. And of course, if one guy has a C+ and the other one has a B-, you know that whatever is behind it is no higher than that. So it gives you more potential. So C+, basically the same, doesn't look quite as good, but maybe it stayed higher because it shows him as a 2nd round talent. So of course, keep that in mind. The hit power, like I talked about before, is actually lower, B- versus B+ down here. Pursuit's the same, awareness versus play recognition. So that's really, they look pretty similar from that aspect. Jumping in, late 2nd round talent, I mean, versus a mid-3rd, they're going to be pretty close. You want to take a look at the combine to get a better idea of what their skills are, and of course, decide based off of what your need is. And finally, the top guy, B, looks okay. B-, I need that to stay up. C+, he's a 3rd rounder, at least as far as talent. Mid-3rd, nothing too special. Projected to go in the 3rd round talent. If you take him, it's basically where it's supposed to be. So he wouldn't be any kind of steal or anything, but it wouldn't be a bad pick either. But before we move on to free safeties, I want to talk about something that's extremely important. You can't always draft SuperStar X Factor players. It's very difficult to do. I will show you how to up your chances to do it, but it's still not a guarantee. Now, if you draft somebody who's not a superstar X Factor and you want to get him there, this is how you do it. These two guys right here, breakout player. You go in here and hell, let's just look at it right now. It will give you a message from the player, in this case Mike Gesicki. Basically he tells you, hey, I think I can be special if you give me the chance. And then it gives you an opportunity with Mike Gesicki. You just need to get 2 touchdowns or 100 passing or rushing yards, receiving or rushing yards, and it will up his development trait from whatever it's at. So that is really probably the easiest way if you get that opportunity to upgrade a player. The other way is to win a weekly award, offensive or defensive player of the week, any kind of off-season award, go to the Pro Bowl, anything like that gives you a chance. It's not a guarantee, but it's kind of a dice roll. I'm not sure what the percentages are, but if you can get your guy to do that, then you'll have a good shot at getting him upgraded. But there's another way to do it too. If you get in, I think, the top 5 of your position for, let's say your wide receiver, it would be receiving yards and touchdowns, I think. If you get in the top 5 for those 2, then you automatically get bumped up 1 development trait. Is that easy to do? No, but if you've got a good player but he's got a bad development trait, then that's a great way. Just focus on him all season, just pound the rock with him, or however works for that position. Do your best to get him as one of the best guys at his position, and you will be rewarded with upgrading him. And just to look at another guy, we've got a defensive player here, and yeah, blah blah blah, Charles Harris. What do we need to do to get him upgraded? Hold the Cowboys to less than 250 total yards, or have Charles Harris get an interception, force fumble, tackles for loss, or sack. So that should be relatively easy, considering that's a lot of things that you need just one of. And that'd be, whatever his development trait is, normal, superstar, he's going to get bumped up 1 if you can accomplish that. So there you go. There's another example of how you do it. So now we're moving on to free safety. We're going to do the exact same thing, hit the very first column, and then go from there with all the players. So now, having hit everybody with the first column, it looks like John Boyle here down in the 7th round. B-, looks okay. Let's keep going. C, I don't know. Let's do it anyway. C-, looks like a 6th round talent. Just know, there again, he's just going to be a bench player for you, but he won't be horrible. He'll play some decent special teams for you. Zach Rich, not interested. A- hit power. So far, the best we've seen of anything. Yeah, it's hit power, but A-, that's a great place to start. B, okay, it dropped off significantly, but this guy is projected to go in the 6th round. We're in a great position. Let's go. B-, 2nd round talent in the 6th round. Early 2nd round talent. He is 23 years old, and this is one thing to keep in mind. When you're going for a tiebreaker, go with the younger guy, because the XP that you earn for a 21-year-old will go farther than it will for a 23, 27, 30-year-old. So if you earn 1,000 XP, and that might be enough to get you an upgrade for a 21-year-old, but 1,000 is just a drop in the bucket for a 30-year-old. So keep that in mind. When in doubt, go younger. But Shamir Waynes, looking awesome. Looking really good. B-, not looking so hot. C, let's do it anyway. And he's a 6th rounder. Oh, D, awareness. Yeah, he doesn't look too fantastic, but he's a special teamer. That's really all you have to do. B+ though, in the 4th round, liking it. B, and B-, 3rd round talent, projected to go in the 4th. Typically, you'll see the CPU draft these guys a little earlier, because hey, they scout them too, but not everybody's scouting the same positions. So keep that in mind. You don't want to wait till the 4th round. You might say, if you have a late 3rd rounder, take him then. That might be a great spot to take him. And oh well, he's a late 3rd round talent, so he wouldn't be that good of a steal, but just keep that in mind. And then Jack Yates, B+, B-, come on, B- again. Stayed up at B-. He's got man coverage. I like that. That is always great to see, at least as far as coverage. And he's a hybrid, so that makes sense. He's someone who would be great to have on 1st and 2nd downs, playing free safety, and then maybe on 3rd down when you're out in nickel or dime packages, he moves in and plays the coverage linebacker spot. And 2nd round talent, still a late 2nd rounder, but he's 22 years old, projected to go in the late 4th. I'd feel very comfortable taking him in the 3rd. Gary Abraham, C+, not even going to bother. Otis Peppers, B, you gotta hold up. Straight B's across the board. B-, don't like it, but if it's another B- and it holds up after what we can see and he's athletic, still could be worth it. And B-, it held up, and he must be athletic because it says that he's a first-round talent. He's a hybrid. Personally, I really like hybrids. And 22 years old, so he's relatively young. You never see any 20-year-olds, so the second youngest you can get. And yeah, I mean, great pursuit, great man coverage, awareness. That's not going to help you if you're going to user him. Keep that in mind if they have high awareness and you're going to user this player. Not going to help you at all. But if you're not, awareness is great. So now that we've scouted all the safeties that we're interested in scouting, we're going to advance to later in the season, maybe even at the end of the season, and I'm going to show you a couple more things. So we're now here in week 12, and I'm going to show you 3 different things. First, right down here you can see we have 348 scouting points. And you might say you get 175 points every week, and you stopped scouting a long time ago. Why do you only have 348 points? Well, that is because everything that you don't use every week gets cut in half and carries over. So you want to use as many points as you can each week. The next thing to show you is how to get more every week. Of course, in something like this, we're only doing free safety and strong safety, so we don't have a need for a lot of points, but that is not going to be the case for you because you're going to be doing it for your entire team and all the positions. So to get more points, you go over to My Coach, down to Spend XP, and this very top one here, Expert Scouting, it's 1400 XP, Coach XP, and you just get that, and bam, now you have, oh, hit the wrong button. Now you get 200 scouting points every week as opposed to the 175. You might say 25, that's not much. And 25 is about how much it costs to do one player fully across. So that's basically 20 extra players you can fully scout in a season. So it might not be worth it in the short term, but in the long term, that is completely worth spending the XP on that. And now the third thing, we are going to go over to League and then News. This is very important for drafting the best players, or at least as far as the best development traits. So you go over to the Draft Stories tab. There's only 3 right now. They come and go throughout the season, and they will say something good or bad about players. And if it's good, that guarantees that this player has some kind of hidden development, which of course narrows it down. Before, you didn't know what you were going to get, if it was going to be normal, star, superstar X Factor. Well, that eliminates that it's going to be normal. Now you've got it down from a 1 in 4 shot to a 1 in 3 shot to get Superstar X Factor. And if you don't get it, maybe you get Superstar, maybe you get Star. That's just that much closer to getting the Superstar X Factor, and then you just have to upgrade them through the means that we talked about earlier. And look at that, the story on the bottom, that is about Shamir Waynes. I'm pretty sure I saw him in the free safety group, so we're going to make sure that we prioritize him a little more. We now know that he has hidden development. And now here in free agency number 2 of the offseason, this is where you can see the combine grades for all your players. So over here we're looking at our guys. It looks like everyone's relatively close, at least in the strong safety area. And you can see here Del Elam versus Dewan Bramble. Their skills are pretty similar. They're actually very similar, but combine is very different, very strong, decently fast here versus even faster, not as athletic. I don't know, they're actually pretty close. They're 2 different styles, so keep that in mind also. So now that we have everybody scouted the way we want, we're going to put them on our draft board, and I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm just going to go to all positions to make it easier and do scouted. And then you just hit triangle on PlayStation, Y on Xbox. And just the easy way to start off is you just hit it, go down, start at the top, continue down. That way it's in order of how they're projected to be drafted. And there you go. Now you just tab over to draft board, and there's your draft board. So we have a pretty clear number 1. Otis Peppers looks fantastic, at least compared to everybody else. Everyone else looks like they're okay. Looks like Shamir Waynes, actually that is the guy who we know has hidden development, and he's 6th round talent too. I'm gonna bump him up all the way to this spot because we can afford to take him that late. Actually, you know what? No, we're gonna bump him all the way up to the 2nd spot because that's where the talent is, and I'd rather have him in front of me and decide to pass on him and wait a little longer than to have him buried, forget about him, and then miss out on him. And here we are in the draft. Let's jump in. This should be pretty easy to do. We have, I think, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. Let's jump in. Oh, we have the first overall. So we're going to reach on our first pick, jump on down to the draft board. Oh, we're projected to go in the second round, first round talent, and shows he's a late first rounder. So it's going to say that we reached, but that's okay. We already know we're taking him early. And let's go. And 72 overall. That's not bad, especially for someone who's projected to go in the second round. You can nab him at the end of the first round, early second, somewhere in there. 72 overall, hidden development. That hidden development is really what you want to see. So now here, with the 20th pick in the first round, we're going to reach again. We already know it. Shamir Waynes. We already know that this guy has hidden development. Let's go. He's probably 70 overall, which really he's projected to go in the late 6th round, so we're really reaching. We could take him 2 rounds later and have a steal of a pick. But we're going to take him now. And, oh, I was close. I said 70. He's a 69 overall. Hidden development. If you got this guy in the 3rd or 4th round, you would be doing backflips. And now with the first pick in the second round, we're going to reach a little bit once again. We're taking Jack Yates. I'm thinking, probably 67 overall and 67 overall. Normal development. At this point in the draft, we're taking guys who are projected to go even later than we're taking them. So the odds of getting a hidden development are pretty slim. Every once in a while, you can get somebody later in the draft with hidden development, but for the most part, you're not going to see anyone outside of the first 2 rounds. With the 24th pick in the second round, we're taking Dwan Bramble. Probably taking him a little earlier than I'd want to. I'd want to take him maybe early 3rd, but hey, it is what it is. And should have guessed what he was going to be, 67, just like the last guy. We were kind of thinking they were pretty darn close. And so yeah, 67, normal development. And at this point, we're getting closer to drafting guys where we're supposed to. He's a 3rd round talent, projected to go in the 4th. This is the first overall pick in the 3rd. So it might not tell us that we reached. Let's go. I'm going to say 66, maybe 65. 66. There we go. Right about what we thought. And yeah, he's going to be a decent player for you. May eventually, at the end of his rookie contract, turn into somebody that you can start for you. But really, he's going to be a bench guy for the beginning of his career. And now with the 31st pick in the 4th round, we've lost out on, everybody who is remaining. So it's going to say we reached again 5th round talent. And personally, I wouldn't want to take this guy unless I was just desperate for like a body. Probably 63 overall. 61. Oh, even that much worse. Yeah, you don't want to take these guys at the back end of the draft if it says 5th, 6th, 7th round talent. You just don't want them. But hey, we put them at the bottom of our draft board for a reason. Oh, and another thing to mention, if someone has a red diamond, that means they are guaranteed to have normal development. So you want to avoid those guys unless you think that they're going to be worth it in the end. Maybe they were supposed to be a 3rd rounder. It shows they have a 5th round talent and you have the chance to take them in the 5th and you like what you're seeing out of them. Take it. It won't be that bad. They're going to be a normal development anyway, almost guaranteed at that point, no matter what. So you might as well take him. And John Boyle, oh God, this is 59, 60? 60 overall, yeah. Just don't want to take these guys at the back end of the draft. So we're here in the draft recap. We're going to jump in and cheat a little bit and see what kind of development trait that these guys had, or at least the 2 that we had with hidden development. You just go into edit player. Of course, this is cheating if you want to keep this a surprise for yourself. But hey, look at that. Superstar. So not Superstar X Factor, but he's 1 step away. All you need is 1 award or challenge that you succeed at, and he's Superstar X Factor. And really, the Superstar X Factor guys just aren't really that much better than Superstar, because the Superstar traits are on all the time. The X Factor is a temporary thing that it takes all these steps to get to, and you can't have on very much, so the difference isn't that big. Superstar, you should be thrilled with. Now, Shamir Waynes, we knew he was going to be in development. I'm really curious. He's the one that had the news article about him. Superstar. We drafted 2 Superstar guys in this draft. I would be very thrilled with that if this was someone I was using in my franchise. So, yeah, there you go. That is absolutely how you draft the best players at safety in Madden 20. If you like this video and want to see more like it, say how to draft offensive linemen, quarterback, 2 draft videos for Madden 20. If you appreciate the content, I'd really like it if you gave me a big ol' like on the video. That really helps out the channel. And if you want to see more, jump on down, hit that big red subscribe button below, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Madden 20 relocation franchise.